Hello, cosmic beings. Welcome to Being Cosmic. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I am so glad that each and every one of you are here. My name is Devon, and I will be doing a collective message today. So, with that, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Okay, so another divine counterpart message wants to come through today. Um, Bear with me. This might be a little more difficult for me to do today. Sometimes when you're reading on stuff that you resonate with, like as a reader, um, it can be a little more difficult at times than others. So I will do my best. Okay. What would like to come through? Okay, right away I'm hearing the feminine in this situation saying I'm here. I'm still here. Okay. Then we've got return, second chance, opportunity, and making amends. And I feel like that's really where this connection is at right now. It's at this return point. Um, and then there's cloudy judgment, which is talking about illusions, and then fantasy, which is talking about daydreaming, imagining, and fantasizing. So I feel like is it both? I feel like okay, so something shifted in the energy yesterday. Um, which is just it's so interesting how much some of these messages resonate with my own personal journey. It's wild. Like they resonate to the letter. Really? Okay. I heard the letter M. So take that if it resonates. And then I'm also hearing R and S. Okay. Anyways, normally that kind of stuff doesn't come through. So that's just going to be extra confirmation. Take it if it resonates. I feel like this may be a part of what's going on right now is thinking that it's just a fantasy. And in reality, it's actually, it's kind of like it's still being in that fog, still not fully seeing things. And then what I just kind of got told was that the fog has lifted, but it's almost like this energy of it's too it's almost too hard to believe that it's real. Something like that. So it's one of these like the fog has lifted. You're able to see things clearly, but it's just the mind perceiving that there's still fog around it, that it's not really what maybe you were thinking it was when it comes to this person. Um, hmm, okay, we've got mistakes, and I'm really seeing misunderstood. And so there could be a big misunderstanding when it comes to this situation, and then also conflicted. Um, and maybe you're conflicted because of the past mistakes in this connection. And then we've got, oh, interesting. We've got bitterness. And on here it says resentment, anger, and hurtful words. So maybe there was resentment for a while towards this person or the situation. Maybe there was some anger, maybe there were some hurtful words said. Um, and then it's over here on the fantasy card. So maybe it's this energy of there's a part of you that thinks that there's no way that this could really be happening. There's no way that this person could completely forgive, like if there was hurtful words or something like that. And again, I'm hearing that forgiveness has already happened. And then we've got chemistry over here. So there's definitely a lot of chemistry between you and your person. Okay, and then we've got distance, but it flipped out in reverse. And so what I feel like, okay, and then it landed on the fantasy card. So I feel like what this is saying is that it's actually the distance between you that is the illusion. Um, And okay, it says separation on here, and because it's in reverse, I feel like this is telling you that if you want the separation phase to be over, it's here for you. It is available. Again, like this is very aligned energy. Um, which if you've been following me for a while, you know that like there was some sprinklings of these types of messages that came through over the past like year or so. But over the past few weeks, it's just been well, I think we're on daily for like a week now. And I'm just getting like push to do it. Even when I'm like, I don't really know if I'm gonna record today. It's like, no, you need to record. This message needs to come out. So there's definitely an alignment within the energy between the two of you that is at a place where this separation can come to an end. Now, what that's going to look like is going to be different for each of you. So for some of you, it may just be a reconciliation, and then maybe you work together. Maybe you, just or I say just, but maybe you become like really good friends, something like that. And then for some of you, there is definitely like a full blown romantic union on the table. So it's just going to vary. And because this is collective and I'm picking up on different threads of energy, it is going to vary. So just take it as it resonates. Um, and then we've also got sorrow, and it came out over here on this cloudy judgment card. And so I feel like there's a part of you that's really in this sorrow energy where you're just like feeling a lot of grief, a lot of sadness because it's like something happened where something okay, what I'm hearing is something didn't go to as expected. So maybe there was a situation where maybe for some of you you did reach out and it didn't go according to your expectation or something like that. And if that's the case, it's not that you're misreading the situation. It's just that I feel like there hasn't been the talk, so to speak, of like, do you see this the way that I do? Do you feel like we're divine counterparts? What's your experience been like with this? I feel like that type of a conversation has not happened. Even if you have reached out. And some of you, I feel like you haven't reached out, you're still in no contact. And so just take it as it resonates. But if you're really in this sorrow energy, I feel like it is because of like a cloudy judgment type of an energy where it's not it's okay, so I'm being shown the door vision again. And if you haven't watched the previous readings, basically the visual that keeps coming through is it's like a prop door, and I can see on both sides of it, and the feminine's here and the masculine's here. And then there's a doorknob only on the masculine side. So it's like the feminine is unable to open the door at this point. Masculine has to do it. And what I just saw was it's like the masculine kind of opened it a little bit and then shut it and was like, no, this isn't that's not really what this is. Something like that. And so that's just gonna be for some of you. For others of you, I feel like you're just standing at that door deciding and kind of up in your head and like, is this really in the highest good to open this door? Because it's almost one of those things like once you open that door and walk through, there's no going back in a sense. So whatever that means is like this connection will forever change once you actually walk through that door. And there might be a lot of anxiety around that because it can be so life changing. And then there's definitely a fear of rejection that I'm picking up. And so it could be one of those like you're standing there thinking I would rather not know than open the door and risk it being not what I think it is. And I'm really seeing that this really is the it, if you're here and you're watching this and you're resonating with it, this is really what's going on. This is your counterpart. And the time is right for a reunion of some sort. Like it is here for you if that's what you choose, because again, we're humans, we have free will. And in these situations, It is kind of interesting, just because there are certain dynamics that are like in play, so to speak. And part of it is the masculine is really being called into that masculine energy, that initiator energy, that leader energy. And so this is one of those situations like you're being asked to open the door. You're being asked to walk through the door, and you're probably going to be asked to kind of lead the conversation at first. And, and that's kind of, it's not saying that you're always going to lead constantly because there is a balance, but it is this energy of like the masculine energy does lead in a way. And so just keep that in mind. And then of course the feminine doesn't have to just blindly follow. That's not the guidance. That's not the guidance at all. It's very much like the masculine will lead, and then the feminine will come through with different insights and be able to see things from a different perspective, and then you come together and then you agree on your next steps forward. So it's not like an imbalanced energy where it's kind of what when we think of like a controlling dynamic, it's not that. It's a very balanced dynamic, but the masculine is being called to really embody that energy of being the initiator, being the leader. Um and then for the feminine's being called to be receptive and to allow and to listen, heavily to the intuition. Um Especially when like communication does happen for the feminine, as much as you might want to just word vomit all the things and attach and like, oh, are you experiencing this too, and are you experiencing this too, you're going to be guided to kind of like hold off a little bit and allow the masculine to step up into that masculine energy and lead the conversation. That's not saying only spoke when spoken to, and only respond when they respond or whatever. It's not that energy. It's just you're probably going to be called to follow the masculine's lead when it comes to the the flow of the communication, especially at first. Okay. Let me my camera is about to die, so let me plug it in. Okay, so a part of what the dynamics are and why that's coming out is perspective. So it's helpful to understand the other person's perspective when it comes to these dynamics and just life in general. Um, and so the thing that I was thinking of is it's one of these things where, okay, if you're resonating with this message, with this energy, you're a divine counterpart. Most likely, whether you actually resonate with it or not, there's probably a twin flame type dynamic happening. That is 100% the energy I'm feeling here. And so the thing is, when we're talking that journey, the awakening of divine counterparts is it's massive and it's intense and it's like a lightning bolt hits you, and then all of a sudden you wake up, and that's part of the journey, and that's why there's only a select few souls that sign up for this journey, because it's literally one of the hardest freaking journeys to walk on this in this plane of existence, and from the human perspective anyways. And so it's this energy where if you think about it, so I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb here and say if you're watching this and you're resonating with the divine counterpart, you've had a spiritual awakening. And it's probably marked by um uh, s- distracted myself. Hold on. Um okay, pull it together. It's probably marked by an event. Like you can think about it and and be like, yes, that it was a huge thing that happened, and I didn't exactly know what was happening, but you can kind of look back and be like, that was a spiritual awakening. Other people on the awakening journey, a lot of other people kind of like ease into it to where divine counterparts, if you're on a twin flame journey, that shit comes in like a lightning bolt and it's like, hey, guess what? It's time. And you're like, what the fuck is happening right now? At least that was my experience. And that's a pretty common experience on the divine counterpart journey. So because you've had that awakening, you've probably experienced it where you're like attempting to socialize with other people, and then you kind of like feel your way into it. You're not just, hey, nice to meet you. So, are you aware of 5D? Are you aware of a planetary shift in consciousness taking place? Blah, blah, blah. Because there's so much more content on it now, that is more, we are seeing more and more of that, but it's normally, you kind of like ease into it, see where somebody's at, and kind of adjust from there. And so if you're the masculine, understand that the feminine might be doing that when it comes to this, when you do communicate with them. So it might not be one of those things where you reach out and they're like, hey, you're my divine counterpart, like right off the bat. It might be recommended to kind of ease into it. But just don't let that deter you if that is the case. Like, allow yourself to kind of keep feeling into it, because it will happen, especially because you know who your counterpart is at this time. Even if you're still kind of doubting if this is really what's going on, you at least know that you resonate with this journey, you resonate with some of the signs and everything that's going on. And so there's a part of you, and your soul, that knows what's going on, and that's why you are continuously being given all this guidance and led on this path, is because your soul's like, you're so close, keep going. And so just little friendly reminder there. Okay. What else came out? We've got stress, elusive, and confessions. Okay. So we've got stress, and this can be a stressful situation. It is what it is. It can be stressful, in a lot of anxiety and emotions and stuff around this situation and coming into contact with your person. Um this elusive energy, what I'm picking up, so it says deception and trickery. And I feel like there's a part of you that's stressed out because you feel like this is not what's really going on. There is that kind of doubt energy that I'm picking up on pretty heavily. It feels more on the masculine side. Um, I do feel like there's something, the feminine got confirmation that's pulled, it's not a gender thing. That her or him into that um knowing energy. So I feel like the feminine's more in the knowing beyond all doubt at this point, that this is what's going on. And then I feel like the masculine's still kind of in this energy of not fully knowing for sure what's going on. And then we've got confessions. And I feel like that's what you're being guided to do. And it was on this distance in reverse card, which is that separation. So I feel like there is, if you allow yourself to open that door, speaking to the masculine, if you allow yourself to open that door and to end this physical separation, there is going to be this confession energy. And I feel like it's going to be from both of you, where you both are like, okay, this is how I feel for you, this is how you feel for me. Let's, see what we can do from here. Um, what else? What else do my counterparts need to know about their situation? We've got one day in reverse again, and I'm hearing one day is today. And then we've got memories, and I'm seeing reminiscing and bittersweet. So if you're still really, really in this energy of reminiscing and thinking about all the shoulda, woulda, couldas, and all of that, there's a reason. I just want to say this. And this was something I had to go through as well. So I do understand this. You wouldn't be like almost trapped in these thoughts about this person if there wasn't more going on. And if you just take a second and you kind of zoom out and go, okay, have I had other intense connections? most likely yes. I'm hearing yes for most of you. Were you able to come to some sort of reconciliation within yourself about that situation? And for some of you, it's like this situation was very minor as far as the level of commitment, maybe even the level of time you spent with this person. But the feeling of it is 1,000 times bigger than that. And it's this energy of like, you cannot shake this person. No matter what you've done, no matter what you've tried, you cannot shake this person. These memories keep coming up. You're thinking about them all the time. You're even when you try not to, you're like, I'm not gonna think about them today. Or, you do a fun thing where you cut cords and then you dream of them that night. That's always fun, especially when you don't know what the hell's going on. Um, and then it's like a boomerang effect. Like, oh, you wanted to fully release me? Hardy har har. How did that go? Not great, really. There's a reason for it. There's a reason. There is still unfinished business between you two. And so it's one of these things like you can choose not to open that door, but these types of things, this reminiscing and the memories and all of that, it's still going to keep happening for a reason. So it's kind of that energy of like if you have a dream that keeps coming back up to the surface, even though you've attempted to turn away from it or choose to do something different in life, and then it just keeps coming back up, maybe in a little bit of different forms, but it's still that general dream that keeps coming back up. It's because that's what your soul wants to experience in this lifetime. So you're going to keep getting insight on this dream because it's meant for you. Same thing with the connections, especially of this magnitude. It's meant for you. And you both of you want this. And so that's part of why it's coming up so heavily right now, is because you both want it. You're both in alignment. You're both ready for it at this point. And now it's up to you in your human form to choose to open that door. And then for the feminine, it's up to the feminine in their human form to choose, to accept, an offer or whatever. And kind of come together and figure out where to go from here. And then there is conflict that came out, and it came out under memories. And so maybe there's part of these memories that are causing conflict for you, which I mean makes sense. Like if you're stuck in your head reminiscing all the time, it's. And it's so interesting because even in, I know for me on this journey, I'll like do all my things and pull myself into the present moment and do all of that. And then just thoughts come in, or, I'll feel an energy that I know is, my masculine, or I'll hear songs, or I'll be listening to like a different reader and they aren't they're not like a love reader or a twin flame reader, whatever. And then all of a sudden something will come out about, oh, you have a person in your energy, blank, blank, blank. And I'm like, what the so anyhow, um it's one of those, it's going to keep finding you. And if this energy is really like intense and prevalent. It's for a reason. Okay, we've got realizations. Oh, yay. Epiphanies, understandings, and awakenings. And so this might be where you're at right now, is really in this energy of having a full realization. And then for some of you, you're not going to fully have the complete realization until you actually talk to this person and get the confirmation from them that they indeed do feel the same way. And then the 1 day card came out in reverse. I think I already touched on this. But I am hearing like this 1 day energy is now, if you choose it. What? Oh my gosh, we've got commitment. Oh, shit. Oh. Mm. So that one hit me. Um, Give me just a second. Again, I don't get emotional in readings. It's just I've done it for so long that I know how to not have an emotional reaction to stuff. Because it's just a different energy when you're channeling. But oh, this energy's a lot sometimes. Um, but it can be beautiful. And you do have this here for you. Um, if you choose it. Again, we're humans, we have free will. But I feel like this is something you both want, and now it's allowing yourself to have it. Um, okay, I can't believe I just talked through that. Whew. Normally I pause it if I have a little breakdown, which again doesn't happen often. I think this is the third time it's ever happened, and it's in this damn energy. Whew, it's intense. It's a really intense energy. Okay. And then we've got hoping, and it came out in reverse. So maybe there was a part of you that was really hoping, and then something happened, and you were like, nope, this isn't real. There's no way. Um, Something like that. And then it's funny because the commitment card came out with it. So maybe there's a part of you that isn't hoping for this anymore. Maybe something's changed. And what's coming through to let you know is that this is still available for you if that is what you want. Again, I'm hearing you're being guided to take the leap and to fully take the leap. Okay. On this commitment card, it says marriage, promises, and fidelity. So this is definitely, if you do choose to go for this and this is a romantic union, this is definitely the energy of like you're not going, neither of you are going to have to worry about infidelity or anything like that. This is going to be a 100%. I mean, I don't really like to say stuff like that, but the energy that I'm feeling is this energy of like it's only you. There's nobody that could come in and tempt either of you. If you pursue this. And there is, marriage if that is something that you desire. Or just like long-term commitment if that is something that you desire. We've got rejection, and I feel like that's really talking about fear of rejection. And I mean that's understandable. And then I'm seeing abandoned down here, and I heard abandonment wound, and so maybe that's part of the factor here. Maybe your abandonment wound was triggered, and that's what kind of pulled you into this hopeless energy of, oh no, I'm just going to not I'm just not going to open the door because it's going to hurt less than being rejected by this person. And the thing is again, if you're resonating with this particular energy that I'm pulling through right now, I really don't feel like this is something that you need to worry about. I really feel like this person is on the same page as you. And then we've got lessening. And there's two things coming through here. One is that there definitely feels like that sensual energy being exchanged between you and your person. Um and then also um what I heard is there's a part of you that is worried that this is just a lustful um energy. Maybe you, which makes sense. There might be this dynamic going on where you are just extremely physically attracted to this person, and then there's the part of you that's thinking that that's only what this is. But the thing is if you if you take a step back and look at it, there's probably other people that would technically be more physically attractive, like by other guidelines, and that person doesn't have the effect on you that this person does. So yes, you're extremely physically attracted to each other because that's part of this design, more or less. Um, but the other thing is it's the soul pull that makes them over the top attractive to you. It's so much deeper than just surface level. Anything else? Anything else on this? And then we've got silence. And I do feel like that's kind of the energy that is going on right now. I don't feel like you are in communication with this person. If you are communicating with this person, it's not, you guys haven't passed that like initial threshold of just, surface level stuff. For some of you, I just got told, for some of you, you may see this person on a regular basis and you just haven't had that next level conversation. And then for others of you, I feel like you're completely no contact. So take that as it resonates. And then we've got loyalty and only you that came out, which is funny because I was thinking of this card earlier. It is that only you energy. Um, there's yeah, there's definitely a deep, deep soul loyalty to this person, and that's mutual. That is for sure a mutual dynamic. And then we've got beauty, escaping, and heart fog. So, okay, I'm seeing blocked emotions on here on the heart fog energy. Um, and I'm also being brought back to that foggy like visual that I got earlier, where for a while you and your person were were like walking on parallel paths and there was just this thick fog in between you and you didn't really, see each other, fully know what was going on. It was a deep, intense connection when you interacted with this person. But then whatever happened that caused the physical separation, there was like this fog that was in between you two. And then the fog started to lift, and both of you started to realize what was going on. And then now it's like that fog has lifted, but there's a part of you that still thinks the fog is there because it is, I mean, this is kind of the energy of it does feel good, too good to be true, but it's not. And that's just so beautiful. And so allow yourself to sit in that energy for a little bit and just see how it feels, like how good it feels to really allow yourself to believe that this isn't too good to be true, that this is here for you, that this is your perfect person and you are the perfect person for your person. Um, the good, the bad, and everything. You are your, you guys are perfect match. And then there's escaping. And so for some of you, this could be vice energy. Um, but really I'm seeing this avoiding. It says avoiding, blocking, and pushing away. And I feel like there is a part of you that is pushing this away right now because of this fear of rejection. Um, and it's just kind of one of those things of you can allow yourself to get in your own way, or you can take a risk and take the leap and see what happens. And as scary as that might feel, is as beautiful as it's going to be on the other end of it. Okay, and then we've got breaking point at the bottom of the deck. So it says final straw and overwhelmed. So you could be overwhelmed right now, but I do feel like you're really at this point, or you will be soon, of just like a breaking point where it's going to be so much, I don't want to say easier, but it's one of those things where you're going to be pushed so hard to open that door, and this is more for the masculine. You're going to be pushed so hard to open that door that it's one of those like you're only going to truly feel that relief when you open it and allow yourself to step through. And that isn't saying, just to clarify, that isn't saying that you being the masculine have to walk through and then be on the feminine's path. Just to be clear. This is one of those energies where you walk through the door and then what I'm seeing, this is really cool. Okay, so what I'm seeing is you open the door, you walk through it, you and your feminine are standing there, and then another path. It's like a glowing path illuminates in front of you. So it's one of these things that's like, if you choose to not open that door, then you can both go your separate ways more or less. And then you're going to each individually have a path that's open to you that is, a soul aligned path. And then if you do choose to open that door and come together with your person, it's like that ultimate dream timeline just illuminates for both of you. Um and again, it's going to be different. Some of you, it's going to be a full-blown physical, romantic union. And for some of you, it's just going to be walking on the path together in some way. I do feel like you may end up working together, regardless if this is a romantic union or not. That energy is really coming through here. So yeah, take it as it resonates. What wants to come through? What wants to come through for this one? We've got the fifth chakra, which is the throat chakra. And that's about communication. And I feel like that's really what you're being guided to at this point. It's one of these things that like communication is I heard necessary, but it's more, I mean, it's necessary if you want to open that door, then communication is necessary. But it's not required. We're humans, you've got free will, so on and so forth. Your person has free will. So there is a lot more going on. It's just this energy of I feel like you're going to feel so much better when you communicate. Um, if that's what you choose to do. And then we've got hostilities, and I'm picking up mental hostilities again. And so, yeah, it's really this energy of being stuck in your thoughts, kind of letting that inner critic run the show and say all the mean, doubtful, fearful things. It's like the mental naysayer. And again, I'm picking up that recommendation of pulling back, observing your thoughts, and start attaching to the thoughts that bring you peace or joy or excitement or um just better feeling thoughts. You don't have to attach and identify with every thought that comes to you. And so with practice, this gets easier and easier. My inner critic was mm, a biatch for a long time, and it took me a while to do this, but it really does work. It's really just understanding that thought forms are energy. And so it's just what you're receiving that you pick up on more frequently. And we're trained to receive those negative thoughts because there's a whole reason, but it keeps us in the fear vibration, it keeps us from awakening, it keeps us from understanding our own power and consciousness and our connection to source and all of that. So there is it's a nefarious reason behind it. It is what it is, but it is really really I mean, for me it worked really really well, and I've guided a few other people through it as well, and it worked for them. So you pull back and you observe thoughts as an energy that is outside of you, and then you attach to the ones that you want. Like, yes, I would like that in my life, so I'm going to attach to that. Oh, it feels great to be completely financially free. Oh, it feels great to be in union with my divine counterpart. So on and so forth. So, what else? And right when I said that, I heard you already are in union in the 5D. And so remember that too. If you're really feeling, actually, I had to remind myself of this last minute. So kind of funny. Um, but remember that you're already in union in the 5D. This is your counterpart regardless. You know, it is what it is. There's nothing you can do to change that soul connection. It's just it's there are things out of our control. And this is one of them. And tapping into that energy and feeling that union energy in the 5D can really help to kind of navigate this energy and shift out of this it's too good to be true, so on and so forth. If you tap into that union energy in the 5D, it can be really helpful. The other thing that I just heard, this is interesting. So okay, if you are attempting to tap into somebody's energy in the physical, that's when you're messing with free will and crossing boundaries. You can actually call out to your counterpart's higher self and ask for messages or assistance or guidance, or like, what do you want me to do in this, with this situation? What do you want? And the higher self is the closest to the human self. Like when we're thinking about it in fractaled energy, the higher self is right up above, like in a different dimension. It's kind of hard to put into words, but it's like the human and then the higher self. And then for this situation, then there's an oversoul that's shared. So it's like the oversoul, it splits it into two. There's different polarities, and then it goes into the human form. And then, and then you keep going, and that's when you really start to tap into source energy where nothing is fractaled or disconnected. Like it's all from the same source. And it's just experiencing itself in multiple different faucets. And so you can actually reach out and ask for guidance or especially because I am picking up telepathy. So if you open yourself up to receive that guidance, you can actually ask for messages. And depending on the level of alignment and so on and so forth, some of those messages might actually be from the conscience 3D human self as well. So just know that. Okay. And then we've got door to personal healing and happiness. And I feel like this is really saying that by you choosing to walk through this door, you're going to find personal healing and happiness beyond what you previously may have thought was available to you in this lifetime. Um, so that's big. But again, I just want to say this. It's not mandatory that you do it. It's not mandatory that you communicate or attempt a union or so on and so forth. It's just there's a union window open right now. There's alignment with you and your person. And so the time to come together and then have that beautiful path illuminated to both of you is here. If you choose not to do that, you can still find fulfillment in, a different soulmate and so on and so forth. It's one of these things when you've experienced this type of connection, it doesn't matter. I mean, it just is what it is. There's not going to be another person that will feel quite the same, but you can get close. And so just know that it's not like you have to do this if you don't want to. But if you're here and you're watching this and you're resonating with this content, I feel like you really, really do want this. And you're just kind of allowing your thoughts to get in the way of pursuing or allowing what it is that you truly desire with this person. Okay. What else? You've got caring connections. So this is what's available for you. And also finances. That's kind of sideways. Okay. Um, so we do have caring connections here. This is definitely a romantic connection, energy. So I do feel like this is something, and it fell out on the commitment card. So I do feel like this is something that both of you are desiring, and you're both at a point in life where this is something that can be sustainable for both of you in the physical. It's going to, this is a connection that is going to require growth for both of you. That's the point of these connections, is to get into alignment with the most authentic version of self. And so there's going to be wounds that are triggered and, stuff like that, but it's to allow yourself to go another layer deeper and then pull into that super aligned energy. To where you both are in alignment with, your higher self, source, whatever you work with, however you view it. And then you both are together in an aligned union. Um, if that's what you choose. Okay, we've got, okay, so we've got man holding a coin, which is the masculine energy, um, on this card. And what's the message here? I do feel like there is something that is shifting when it comes to finances for both of you, in a very beneficial way, a very positive way. Um, and so I feel like that's going to be like a happy byproduct of this communication as well. Um, and energetically, I feel like it's already happening. So take that as resonates. And my nose is doing the thing again where it like gets weird runny. And so I do feel like there's communication that's blocked right now, that's not taking place. And you both are going to just feel so much better after you fully communicate this. Um, the patience card. Hmm. No, no. I'm not pulling that one through right now. I don't, it's not coming. It's not coming to me. And then we've got the world card, and I'm seeing the world card in the tarot as well, which is an ending. It's a happy ending. Um, and so I feel like that's what you have available to you if you choose. It's like a happy reunion kind of energy. And then we've got the patience card. So, for some of you, what I'm hearing is to have patience when it comes to your finances and do your best not to attach to the lack thoughts that are coming, because this is something that is happening energetically. You do have more financial stability coming your way. And it's like a massive level up when it comes to finances. And so just make sure that you're staying patient. Do your best not to be in this urgent energy of like, where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? Because that's kind of pushing it away. So just stay in this knowing of, I know my finances are, on the up and up, and I'm going to expand to a whole new level. And I do feel like financial freedom is something that you both people in this energy are really manifesting. And you two coming together is going to help accelerate that, but it's still coming to both of you regardless, because there's an energy shift within both of you that is allowing this to really take place, that is allowing this massive level up when it comes to finances. Okay, that makes sense. Was that sideways? Right. Okay, so we've got the broken heart in the upright. Um, I mean, I feel like there's a part of you that feels like this is, how can I say this? It's almost like this is going to be the energy until you come back together. Okay, so I had an interruption without fail. Surprise, surprise, I know. Um, in this energy, it happens all the time. Then when I went to hit record again, I heard external forces. So for some of you, In whatever situation happened recently that kind of shifted this connection a little bit, there could have been external forces that, how can we word this? That interfered. I'll just put it that way. Um, if that's the case, the other thing that was coming through is your feminine cleared and protected the connection. I feel like they did this consciously. Um, so I mean, okay, I'm going into it. All right. So your feminine does not have the authority or the permission to do energetic work on you, and vice versa, without explicit permission. So even if the feminine is trying to do that on this other person, it's not going to be effective. You don't have clearance for that unless you get explicit permission from that person. But because the connection involves the two of you, you do have authority over your connections and your relationships with other people. So you can clear, cleanse, and protect your connections with other people. You can also do this with your finances. You can do this with like your business if you have a business, your job, whatever. Um, so you do have the permission to do that. So maybe you're being called to do that. And just kind of most of the time these connections are connected in the heart space, and so you can actually visualize kind of like a thread of energy between you and this other person, and then just clear it, cleanse it, and wrap it in I use gold light. You can use silver, white light, whatever calls to you. um and just kind of wrap it in that extra protection, because it's more of an intentional thing. And this would be a whole other video on like loopholes and stuff like this, because we are on a free will um experience. So there's lots of like loophole, sneaky ways that external influences can come in and attach and interfere. But by you consciously protecting it, any of that loophole type energy is then not allowed to interfere. And this is something that you can do, daily if you are feeling called to. All right, let's see if anything else wants to come out really quick, and then I'm gonna close it. Anything else? Okay, we've got anxiety. Oh, snipers. I flipped it on the ground, but I think that was the appreciation card, which is interesting. So, I'm gonna hop over here and grab it. Okay. Um, yeah, it was appreciation, but it flew on the floor. So, which is interesting because yesterday I think this card came out like first. Um, and so maybe there's a part of you that has shifted out of this energy because of, and I'm really picking up it's like that mental hostility energy. And so I feel like the message here is to pull back into this energy and do your best to be grateful for this experience. Understand it is one of the hardest journeys to be on in this experience. Um and so do your best to kind of have that appreciation. And then we've also got the heart chakra card. And so I feel like you're really being called to tap into that heart space and allow yourself to just feel the energy. And when your mind starts doing its thing, do your best to just ignore it and just to really feel, like tap into that connection, that energy between you and this person, and really feel, I just heard how good it feels. And focus on that versus all of the naysaying, anxious thoughts that may be plaguing you right now. So, yeah. Um, and then we've got woman holding a heart. So I feel like this is coming through as extra confirmation for the masculines that your feminine is holding their heart for you. And then I also heard you have this feminine's heart. And that's mutual. It's a mutual energy. So, okay, with that, I'm going to go ahead and leave this here. I hope this resonates. I hope this brought a little bit of assistance and clarity. Wishing you all the best on this journey. And if this resonates, you can let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear about it. If you like this message, feel free to hit that like button. It does help out the channel, so thank you. And if you would like to see more from me, you can hit subscribe. It is free, and I will see you on the next message. Bye.